Which brings us to episode 36 of Shotgun The Aux. Weaver, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Thanks very much for having me on. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, man. You made a trip down from Bristol.
Yeah, bro.
So, man, it's Bristol fever at the moment. The last few guests have been from Bristol. No, but in all seriousness, appreciate you coming down.
No, thanks for inviting me, mate.
And you've come down with a couple of your homies as well.
Yeah, so Ian, my manager's come down, and then I'm staying at my mate Kaz's house as well tonight.
Welcome, lads. Welcome.
Ian's going to come on and talk about hip-hop coffee shops in a bit, I think, as well.
Looking forward to that, man. Nice one. So for our listeners who may not know who you are, do you want to tell them a little bit more about you?
Yeah, so I was born in Guernsey, in the Channel Islands, which for a lot of people, they don't know where it is. And it's next to Jersey, basically. But yeah, I came from there and then moved over to England, went to college in Reading and Oxford, and then first started sort of rapping around when I was 14. Got a lot of a bit of a hard time for it, and stopped until I was about 16. And then I started, didn't really, as I said earlier, I didn't really care about what people thought anymore. And I sort of hibernated for 7 months because I put out a track and I got a lot of shit back for it, if you know what I mean. And,
yeah, man.
And then I just kind of went away for 7 months, didn't put anything out.
But I suppose you got to kind of cut your teeth, sharpen your blade a bit.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, I just put stuff out before I was ready, I think, basically.
But it's, at the same time, man, you could argue it's a good way to test the water. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's got to have their first track, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's true.
It's the first episode of the podcast we put out, man.
It was fucking awful, man.
It was
the content, I think, was pretty good. Just, I've got to be the one to stick up for it. But we were all recording into one... an iPad, weren't we? Huddled around one
mate, when I
microphone.
first started rapping, I literally I'd have GarageBand on my computer, and then I'd have my earphones coming through. I didn't know you could put the beat on Logic or on GarageBand or whatever, so I'd play the beat for a speaker next to it, and I'd rap through the earphone mic with the beat coming through from the speaker.
That's hip hop, though, man. You need that DIY aesthetic.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've had anyone come through who said yeah, my first track was fire. Do you know what I mean? Everyone who's come through has just been
and if they did, they're a liar, mate.
Yeah. I'd probably have to turn around and just be really, man, come on, let me hear it. I'll be the judge of that.
So you say in your Spotify bio, you say you take influence from the likes of kind of Wu-Tang, your Verb T's, and people like that.
When I was when I was younger, 8, 9 years old, I would listen to people like Eminem. Obviously, he was a big influence for me. 50 Cent.
Yeah, man.
The thing is, when I first started rapping, actually, I would put on an American accent. And then there was a time
Man, you're too young to be doing that, man.
Mate, it was silly, because the thing is, I didn't know about UK hip-hop at the time. I was, and then it was about a year after, and one of my mates showed me Life in the Balance. That was the first UK hip-hop tune I heard. And then Ain't Amused by Split Profits.
Yeah.
And it kind of inspired me to kind of use my accent, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And embrace your voice, because everyone says, when you hear your own voice and you don't like the sound of it.
I hate it, man. I hate it.
It's so, I found I just had a process of just getting used to liking my voice, if you know what I mean. It takes a while.
Editing the podcast is Aiden's favourite time of the week. He gets to hear himself out and beat one off.
Yeah, basically. But I suppose that's, with you being a creative, that's one of the first things about being a creative, I suppose. You've got to be comfortable with yourself first, and then before you're going to put yourself out to the world.
Well, that's the thing, and at first, mate, I'm not even going to lie, when I first started writing, I thought I was amazing. I thought I was incredible, and that's why I put stuff out, because I had that image of myself, and then obviously a lot of people told me I wasn't. And I was calm, and I stopped, and then I started practicing more and realised that there's much more to the craft, and started studying it scientifically, if you know what I mean, all the syllable counts and all the different rhyme patterns and the way that the actual way that you can put the words together. And
okay,
that's why there's 2 reasons why I'm called Weaver, and one of them's because it's my mum's maiden name, so it's in my name, so it's Hugo Weaver. And then second is because I love the science of writing. I love how it's, you have to break it down in timing and land on beat, and it's almost like I'm weaving these words together, if that makes sense.
Man, that's cool. I like that.
That's a good take on it.
There goes my next question. But
So
fuck it.
how did you make a start on that? Because let's be honest, a lot of rappers will just straight up go into it and just sort of imitate people, imitate their flow, and then slowly start to craft their own flow.
Oh, don't get me wrong, mate.
Unless you're
that's
Logic,
exactly
you just
it.
carried on doing that throughout the entire career. But
That's exactly what I was doing. I was taking inspiration from so many different artists at once. And like, I'd always find new people, and I'd find when I'd make a track, like, you could see the influence that I'd been listening to that person in that week. But I think just over time, I don't know, I think I'm still kind of developing a style, if you know what I mean. I don't think it ever stops happening. Like, I think you still kind of, you always change, and that's why you see rappers like, you know, that people are like, oh, I like his old music and that. And the situation is, it's like, his old music was good, but his life's different. He's changed. He's developed.
100%, man.
And I like that about it. It keeps it interesting for you. And sometimes it's boring staying in the same.
Music can be like a time capsule as well, can't it? It can either be like a specific point in time that like takes you back to it, or it can be timeless. Do you know what I mean? It all
That's
depends.
the thing. I definitely think that you should be writing about your time in like a contemporary rap, because people like in like 20, 30 years are going to be listening to it still, potentially, depending on how big you were. And for them, it's like, oh, that's what life is like. Do you know what I mean? They don't know. They haven't seen it. So I think it's, like you said, it's a time capsule for people to look back on and be like, that's what hip-hop was like back then.
Before we started recording the podcast, you dropped some bars for us. And I was saying to the others, it was probably like the first like concept piece we've had someone come through and drop for us.
Yeah, man. I love doing stuff like that, because
Do you want to talk to us a bit more about that particular piece, because we'll post the bars later on.
Yeah, of course. So I actually wrote that on the plane coming from Guernsey to Bristol, and I didn't have a beat or anything. And a lot of my music that I find, a lot of the stories that I write come from writing on the plane. And it was actually inspired from, there's this song called Boys in Blue by Skittles, who's, you know, Levels. He's in that, and he tells his stories, like, I knew this guy called Chris and stuff like that, and it's about shotting and stuff like that. And it's interesting, and I wanted to do something relevant to like life in general, and I feel like, I don't know, especially on Instagram and stuff like that, and social media these days, there's a lot of, it's super sexualized.
Man.
And
people
are going to find dates on there. Do you know what I mean? It's not just for like showing photos and stuff. And I wanted to try and show a side of it in the story that I tell that maybe people don't know about, maybe people do know about, and help them if they did realize that, you know, or just to make a point. Do you know what I mean? Like that. People are using Instagram in that kind of way.
Yeah, I think especially when Tom posts pictures of himself on their Instagram, he does try and sexualise himself a lot. And then you meet him in person, you're slightly disappointed, aren't you?
I'm fucking horrible.
You talk about your flow and kind of like how you did that.
Wait, what?
Moving on from Tom's news. The bars you just dropped were very like spoken word.
Yes.
Sort of similar to that, almost like Dave-esque kind of. Like,
yeah, I kind of like, I mean, that's where I started writing poetry. I mean, the first time anybody even knew that I was writing a lot of the time was I actually won this poetry competition at school, and from a poem that I sent in, and it was like published in this book, and they were like, got me to like read it at assembly and everything. And
nice.
And it was that gave me a lot of confidence with my rapping, and I sort of try my best to, you know, like transfer that skill into music. Yeah. It's just, I find you have a lot more freedom with poetry because you don't have to stay on time. Whereas with rap, you kind of have to compress into a certain time limit. You have to put it onto a certain, you know, tempo and everything. But I find sometimes without the instrumental, you don't always get the emotion behind it. But yeah, I love doing spoken word stuff, and I do want to release like some sort of EP or in the future or something where it's just spoken words.
Yeah, man. Sick.
Rate that.
Yeah.
So what's the hip hop scene like in Guernsey? Is there one?
So
do you know what? I think it's still like, I can't get my head around the fact that you've got to catch a plane, and you're like in the UK. And you've got to catch a plane to get to the
It's
house.
technically not the UK though, is it?
Is it?
Is it?
Is it like a tax haven?
I'm pretty sure it's not, but it's part of Great Britain or something where the difference is.
Yeah.
Is it in France?
Yeah, it's like off the coast of France.
Would you
So
say
it's
there's a
closer
lot
to
of
France
French-
to England.
Where's
like
Matt
hip-hop
Letitia
there?
from? Is he from Guernsey or is he from?
Not at all. Yeah, Matt Letitia.
Yeah, Matt Letitia, the most famous person to come from Guernsey. Before Weaver, obviously.
Muramasa comes from Guernsey.
Who's that?
Muramasa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. You know, he's did stuff with A$AP Rocky recently. I'm trying to think what he did stuff with Octavian as well. He like makes beats and stuff. You know that tune "Move Me," Octavian. It's He
Jake's your guy. You probably know.
Is it new Octavian? Like stuff he just had an album come out.
Yeah, not on the new album.
No.
He did a tune called Firefly. I don't know. I thought like you should check him out definitely. He's got really good production. But yeah, he comes from Guernsey. Trying to think who else. But the scene's like there is a scene. I mean, I did go through the scene in Guernsey as well, and I still go back to Guernsey to rap and stuff because I love showing my mates and stuff. You know what I mean? And like a lot of the time, it's like I'm close with the people.
Do they ever look at you when you come back like with your Bristol swag, and they're just like, oh fucking prick?
Oh mate, God knows. To be honest, I don't know. I hope so.
I'm only joking, man. So like so obviously you live in Bristol now. Obviously, it's like a very creative hub there. It's kind of probably one of the most go-to places for UK hip hop at least. Yeah. So how did the scene there like embrace you as an artist? Did you have to like go out and graft and meet people?
Yeah.
How that worked?
The story actually first time I was texting a lot of people before I even moved to Bristol. Like I used to message a lot of artists being like, how can I get involved in the scene? And I remember that was quite a while ago, maybe a year before I moved, I messaged Res One's page on Facebook being like, what should I do? And he was saying stuff like, go to open mics, collab with producers.
Yeah, man.
Get like original stuff like that. Because at the time I was only putting music out like over beats that I didn't know who was doing it. I wasn't paying for it. It was going on Spotify.
Like mixtape stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
man.
like, and then when I turned up in Bristol, I started going to open mics. I tried to get to a couple. The first one I ever did was in a pub called Mr. Wolf's, and then Hip Hop Coffee Shops came. I went and did an open mic there, and that's when I met Ian, and he like fully helped me get more sort of involved in the scene and everything. And then I started doing a set for Hip Hop Coffee Shops, and then they asked me to do another one, and it just sort of I met loads of artists on the way. And And it was.
How did you notice it's a new iPhone? Why?
Did you see that iPhone case with like Arnold Schwarzenegger from fucking Predator on? And it's like the camera's the gun, cool, gun barrel.
So you started really just doing like open mics.
Yeah, I'd say that's like pretty much because I wanted to perform as well. I wanted to practice performing, and that's how I got into it in Guernsey as well. Like there's this group called the Asylum Seekers from Guernsey. And
I like that name.
So Jimmy
from Guernsey, yeah, man, that's so apt.
And the thing is, on the running track, Jimmy Riddles, he's part of the Asylum Seekers. Yeah. And those guys, like they've been around in England as well, and like quite a few years ago. But they embraced, like when I was doing my open mics and stuff, they embraced my work and they helped me quite a lot. I'd get a lot of studio time and stuff from them and. A couple of my tracks were done. That I don't know if you heard the Reflection song that I've got on my SoundCloud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
That was recorded in Schmuff's house, which is he's one of the rappers in Asylum Seekers, and the VLR Fair that's for the running tracks recorded on that stage. They got me that opportunity as well. And Jimmy came over, I think, to do Hip Hop Coffee Shops on the 420 event in April. And yeah, he smashed it out. Like, it's nice to have, like, to be able to bring both scenes to each other.
100%, man.
Especially now, we did a Jersey event the other day, and it went off. Like, it was really, like, it was cool to be able to, like, go to the other Channel Island and try and share my music. Because I always wanted to do that, if you know what I mean. But yeah,
turn it into kind of like a fire festival type scenario. How fucking sick would that be on the Channel Islands?
God, there'd be a lot of rich people that would get pissed off.
So when you were doing these open mics, did you have like songs pre-ready or pre-written ready for it, or were you just dropping 16s?
Yeah, like the thing is, like when you're, it's a cypher, so you only have like a certain amount of time before you're hogging the mic. So I'd usually just take from certain tunes that I'd memorised. Mm-hmm. I mean, since coming to Bristol, I memorised so much more music.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, and we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, like the kind of like competitive element to hip hop, You know, there's a lot of other people who are like hungry for the mic, and obviously you're going to be like dropping a fire. You want to come through with the, you know, with the fucking heat.
You know, you want to bring something new, original. You want to impress everyone around you as well, and you know, that's what it was about. It was about sort of getting myself known around Bristol, and then going from there as well. You know, and yeah, the open mics without them, like, yeah, I wouldn't have the same confidence I do when I do my own sets. Yeah. And I wouldn't have met so many of the people that I did. And yeah, it's definitely like, I would recommend to anybody to like go and check out wherever you are, check out an open mic. 'Cause you'll find some hidden gems at them as well, I think. Like, I've seen some really sick rappers that I never heard of before at open mics. But yeah, I think it's a really cool part of hip hop.
100%, man. I think that live component is like one of the main, like, one of the better components.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
It's I feel like, especially with technology and YouTube, SoundCloud, all of that, it's slightly going down really in terms of the time taken for like a live performance. So, you know, you've got like SoundCloud rappers and all that sort of shit.
I mean, people who don't actually go and perform, they just like record stuff.
Yeah, literally just put stuff out on socials or whatever.
It's so easy for them too, though.
I think like if a lot of the time performances are getting more people are doing them because you don't get as much money from making music anymore. You don't have a hard copy of CD that you can sell. Really, it's all on Spotify. You get streams and you get like point nothing really for a stream, depending on.
Oh, it's stupid, isn't it, man?
So, you know, a lot of artists make a lot of their money from merchandise and doing shows. Which is, I think, you know, it's not the same as what it was. It's different, but I don't think it's a bad thing. It means there's more people performing.
So you get quite a lot of old heads doing that, don't you? Especially like from the States. You know, like who were like massive names back in, say, like the 90s. Yeah. And now they're like, most of their income is just from fucking live shows because they spent all their money.
Exactly.
Do you know what I
mean?
mean?
On touring. And
a lot of them squandered their wealth on like drugs and women and whatnot, and now they're just paying back taxes and whatnot.
Well, waste.
It's true. I think like, you know, you hear about all of them, a lot of them kind of like dealing with kind of tax issues and stuff. But you probably would. I mean, if you were that famous...
It's not just US, man. I'm sure there's UK heads that...
Yeah, definitely. I've heard stories. But I mean, I guess if you were like young and you were like just a creative type, you get all this success, you get all this money, and you got like the wrong people advising you, then you're going to do that, aren't you?
And also, I think it's like with like all this viral component that's in now, like you can... Depending on like what song or whatever it is, who sees it, you can blow up tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Like, and if you get all that fame and success and money, like,
but then
like that,
because of the fickle like climate we're in at the moment, they can crash like the next day, twice as hard, and then they're just like,
there could be someone else blows up the next day and takes off.
That's like YouTube culture at the moment, isn't it? You know,
mate, one lesson for you, mate.
Yeah,
for all of you, fucking. Pay your taxes, man. The fucking tax man will come get you one day when you least expect it.
Oh, mate, yeah.
Cheers.
Fuck the tax man.
It's good advice.
Do you think...
yeah,
it's very true, mate. Get that tax haven.
Oh, mate, yeah. It's like fucking Geneva over there.
Oh, mate.
Do you think that UK hip-hop's like at its healthiest right now? Because it seems to have had a resurgence. Obviously, you had the low life era, right, some time ago, and then obviously that kind of disbanded and went tits up. But then you've always had people in the background doing their thing. A few years back, you had a major kind of resurgence with like the likes of High Focus kind of bringing it back. Yeah. And now there are all kinds of different labels kind of doing their thing.
I think it's sick, like, and I think, you know, there's certain people that have done their part as well, like, you know, that have got big, maybe gone into the mainstream, and I don't know, like, I think UK hip hop definitely. I mean, for me, I've only been in the position to listen to it for a certain amount of time because I'm only 20 years old. But I do look back at it, you know, like the Skinny Man, the Rodney P stuff, and like, I think that's still like, everyone's doing their thing at the moment from all over the place in the UK. You know what I mean? And I think it's kind of linking up together nicely. And for me, I definitely think it's probably the healthiest that it's been. But I'd like to say that, if you know what I mean. Cause
oh, yeah, man. I mean, people are like embracing like the accents and all of that now, like they have for some time. But, you know, you got like the Knots Heads doing their thing and they're like fucking smashing it right now.
Manchester,
you got like, obviously like Lee Scott and Runcorn and like Blah Records.
It's important I think, to embrace like where you're from and your accent as well.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, for me, as I said, like I used to rap in American accent, and you know, like you learn to realize when you hear other people doing it, that you actually have your own individual accent, and that's the cool thing about the UK is that there's so many accents, and you can hear them so clearly when people are rapping. I find. And that's why I like it, you know, because it's different to American hip hop. Because a lot of their accents, I don't actually know that much, but a lot of their accents are, you know, similar sort of style, I find. But with UK hip hop, it's like I know when someone's from Manchester and when someone's from, you know, South.
Yeah.
Is there any UK accents you don't like?
What, in terms of like people like in the scene at the moment?
Whatever, man.
I don't know,
Just
to
in
be honest.
general.
Nah, I don't think so. I like
baity question.
I like it when it's innit? I like it when it's like I like when it's a different.
You don't have to answer that, man.
No, when it's like a different when it's different accent, when they have their own style. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's the voice for me as well. It's like you have an accent, that's cool. But
Yeah,
like,
man.
It's the Brummie accent,
voice,
isn't
you know what I
it?
mean?
Brummie accent. No, I'm joking.
My mum's from Birmingham.
Is she?
No.
Oh.
It'd be funny if she was.
Geordie, isn't she?
And also, nah, she's from.
I
She's
thought-
from,
I
she's
thought
from
you
the
were
Lake
Welsh.
District.
I thought you were
My old
Welsh,
man's
man.
Welsh. Yeah, weird hybrid, Northern and Welsh. But anyway, no, but I'm with you there, man. I think voice is like a major kind of component for me when I listen to an artist. Like you can be I say this all the time, I'm fucking stuck record, but you can be a really dope rapper, like technically, but if you have a shit voice, then I just don't care.
It's true.
Yeah,
and if you're rapping over a shit beat.
True. And it
Depends on the content and the voice though as well. But
yeah,
you're right. It does eventually does come down to that.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, I think it's like, you know, your voice is a muscle. I think so. I think anybody has the ability to create something good if they practice.
Yes, I rate that. No,
Definitely,
100% voices. I like that. Voice and a muscle. Voice is an instrument, man. So I think it's definitely be used.
Definitely
Instrumental.
It is definitely for more people than others. So like Black Thought, I always say he's a fucking instrument. He's not just a rapper. He like transcends the average rapper. Do you know what I mean? Because I posted the other day because it was his birthday, so I posted like the 10-minute freestyle we did, you know, for Funk Flex.
Yeah.
And I was
Do you wish him happy birthday?
I wished him happy birthday, and he ignored
Good
me
man.
like he does every year. And and he just like you watch it, and it's just fucking like hypnotic. Like watching him rap for that long, his lexicon is just like off the chain. He's so articulate.
What did you say his lexicon?
This is vocabulary, Aiden. Anyway.
The irony.
He meant his dick out.
His flow, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's just like his kind of cadence, the way he kind of conveys a story, and he just goes for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's sick. What I don't like about a lot of hip hop is that when people say freestyle and they don't do a chorus, mate. It's like a freestyle for me is off the top, there and then.
See, that's an interesting one because like people have different takes on it. Like some people think it's like a free form of flowing. Like you can kind of like just pick any kind of bars that are in your head at the time.
Like to me, like I don't mind that as well. But I think you do have to be you can't be putting them in the same order you did as you're writing. You've got to have some like original stuff that you've just come up with then as well. I think.
Yeah.
I just think like back in the day, everyone was freestyling properly, like they weren't, and you see it, you know when someone's freestyling. You can tell, and you know when someone's not as well, but they're acting like they are.
I think you can appreciate both. Like if like rap battles back in the day, I think if it was off the top, it was really impressive.
Yeah.
But if it's just like a cypher or something like that, or like someone's in the booth and you're like, right, just.
Personally, for me, it's like that's calm, but like call it a written.
Yeah,
man.
I mean? Yeah. Semantics, man. But no, it's interesting getting your take though.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Because so many people have different opinions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people.
And I'm not saying like my ways, like the way I think of it is the right way to think of it. That's just as I said, it's just my opinion on it. But
that's your opinion.
If I'm dropping
your
a
opinion
freestyle,
is wrong.
If I'm dropping a freestyle, you know that's coming off the top.
Oh, I like that, man. I'll rate that. Did you used to watch like battle raps and that like Don't Flop back in the day?
Yeah, mate. I used to put on like little montages of lunacy and stuff. Seeing those funny bars. I've seen a Verb T Don't Flop before. I just like here and there. You know, I wouldn't be able to pull them all off the top, but there's There's a Don't Flop scenes coming up again in Bristol and
Is
stuff
it?
as well. Yeah,
Is it really?
I think there's a couple of guys that I've seen doing one. I think there's a guy called Press One and Lefty that doing a battle on November the 1st in Bristol.
Yeah,
There's been a couple of stuff going on.
Oh shit!
I think
it's cool. Like
I think the early days of Don't Flop, man, like Kruger, like O'Shea, and those guys, they're just fucking jokes.
Is
man.
it that's still running it then?
Yeah, I think he is. He must
sure,
be. Is he not?
Because
It used to be Erwin Kruger, didn't it, from Unusual Suspects?
Yeah. Then the incident happened, and then yeah, because I wasn't sure if it was just him or if it was just him by himself. We still had like quite a big team.
Yeah, man.
But fuck knows.
But yeah, Don't Flop.
yeah, I would love to like do a battle one time, but I've never done it before, so that's the thing. It's like
it's a different kettle of fish, though, isn't it? Entirely.
It's
I think there's so much like commitment in terms of time you have to put into it for like little return.
Research as well.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Like,
true. And also like the feeling of practicing the bar that you think's sick, and then just like spraying it and having no response.
Oh mate, that'd be brutal.
It'd be horrible,
it's like stand-up comedy, isn't it?
It's true.
Speaking of which,
very
man,
true.
little tangent. You went to see the Joker the other night, didn't you?
I saw
Oh,
it the
yeah,
other night
yeah,
as well,
Was it any
man.
good?
Yeah.
Good, man.
So like, did you see it was like outrage in the media because they used like a Gary Glitter track in the
I
soundtrack?
heard that today, actually.
I was just like, what?
Yeah, I think he's getting royalties for it though. I think that's
Oh
right.
right, yeah. To be fair, that's a
Yeah,
bit bait.
that's
But
what
my mate messaged me the other day and he was like, do you think it's because Americans are like naive to the paedophilia charges, or do you think
it
they're
was
just being
a
provocative?
shock value?
But I said it's Todd Phillips, right, the guy who directed The Hangover, and years ago he made like a fucking documentary about Gigi Allen, who was like this nutty like anarchic punk character who was just like real fucking obnoxious. So I thought he must have done it to be provocative.
The scene where the song's played, he's walking down.
I haven't seen it, by the way.
This isn't a spoiler, by the
Oh,
way. But it's the point in the film where he proper kind of turns to like, it all kind of gets to that point and it's all built up and he turns to what we would know as the Joker, like the mental state.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that scene and he's walking down these stairs in Gotham.
Yeah.
And that's when it's played. So it's almost like the ice, like it could just always be like that shock value, like twisted, fucked up. Gary Glitter song.
But that song's been on like Happy Gilmore and shit.
Yeah.
It's like
The thing is though, like that's calm. Like use his music if you want to, but don't give him any cash.
Yeah, I agree.
Would
with
it
that,
go
man.
to him, or would it just go to an estate, and then that estate would spend it, and he wouldn't like, you know,
Fuck
or does
knows,
he get
man.
like some? Is he like he would get like tokens in prison
But
to buy
do you-
like a sandwich or whatever?
It's a fact. Yeah. You can get this. You get like £2 every day.
What's your
He
view?
gets
though?
loads of soap tokens.
What's your
Velcro soap.
They're not old enough for him there, man. I don't think. But what's your view on separating the art from the artist? So listening to say Michael Jackson, for example, because I still fucking bump to Jacko, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I still
crack one out now and again.
Jacko.
He's still Bum
Do you
Jackson.
know what I mean?
He's still bum Jacko.
I don't know, man.
He's
I think
dead, mate.
At the end of the day, like, if you like,
That's even worse, mate.
That's why we call Shotgun the Corpse. Isn't it?
and the corpse.
Oh, mate, that's a different podcast entirely. But yeah, and it moving
Sorry,
aside from necrophilia, but back to the question at hand.
Sorry, what were we talking about?
So, do
No,
you
I'm
think you
joking.
can separate the art from the artist?
Yeah. Thing is, I think, like, let's be honest. If you liked the tune before you found out that, you know, they were whatever they were, like,
It's not Africa
you
Bombard.
don't really,
as
you
well.
can't be like, I don't like that tune now. Like, if you like the tune, you
Yeah.
like the tune.
It's like, you know, Africa Bombard, like back in like the 80s, and he was like a massive head, like, you know, Zulu Nation, big, like massive influencer in the hip hop scene in the early days. And then he was exposed to these kind of, you know, child molestation charges, and allegedly KRS-One was kind of not covering up for him, but he wasn't kind of calling him out for what he was. There's all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? There's so much happens behind the scenes.
Self-protection as well, I think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you get seen doing a track with someone that gets found out to be doing something like that. Like, it seems like you're pally with them.
Like the rest of the Lost Prophets, for example, man. Like, fucking hell, they must hate him.
Personally, I think, like, if someone's doing that, then, yeah, maybe... The thing is, if it's proven, do you know what I mean? Then, like, bin it, do you know what I mean? Like, but personally, like, you can't exactly be like, because I don't like a track anymore because of this person is doing this. Like, if you like the track before you
100%.
knew, then you like the track before
I agree,
you knew.
man. I mean, I love film. I'm not going to stop watching fucking Roman Polanski movies or like films with Kevin Spacey in.
Yeah.
Because like, even though, you know, what they've done, regardless of their indiscretions, they're still good films.
What I think is that like they shouldn't have
benefit from
anything from it at all, and they should obviously be in prison, and like they shouldn't even know that people
soap on Velcro.
Whatever happened to Kevin Spacey? He's still living life normal.
I've no idea, to be honest, mate.
Yeah,
I've got his number if you want to give it.
You're quite a big fan, aren't you?
You got Jacko's number as well.
I'm getting absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised, man.
rinsed.
And Ian Watkins.
Oh my god.
Has he got his digits there?
Yeah, I've just got like a whole like index of pedos on my phone for whatever reason.
Whoa,
Did you say your granddad's
it,
going to watch this or no?
Fucking hell.
I don't know.
Going back to what you said, you said something earlier. Right, calm and stop laughing now, boys.
All right, Jake, go on.
Let's go serious.
Back to hip hop. Yeah.
Back to hip hop. So, like, writing in the time, like your time in life, that's what you're writing about.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Like, I was thinking about this earlier about like drill artists that get quite big, and I saw a picture of M Huncho in like a Lamborghini in like a really nice suit, like a really nice watch on, and I'm thinking if he went into the studio now, in theory, you couldn't really write about like his.
I was saying this point. I said this. I've actually like said this to a lot of people. Is that this drill artists? I mean, I don't know this obviously, but I think a lot of them I think they start off by doing things they're talking about, and then when they get big from it, they don't really know what else to talk about, innit? Because like their fans came from that, and they're not living that life anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you're on tour, mate. You're not selling anything.
Because a lot of drill music is just sending for like another gang, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Like you're just. And it's just all like London slang gang.
Yeah,
like,
I think a lot of it's so samey, to be honest. Like I don't know, I don't think it's gonna have a long lifespan.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like a genre that's ever going to become big because you can't just keep going back and forth sending for one another.
Yeah.
Like getting thousands of hits on YouTube, raking in all the money. And you're still like living on this, like not living on the streets, but still like hanging on the corner.
Yeah, I think
gang wars when you've got like thousands coming in.
I mean, and if you are going back to that life while you're making money, like why what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Really. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that type of music personally. I mean, I'm more boom bappy. Like I like grime, and I like a lot of the stuff that came out like a while ago in grime. I went through a little phase where I listened to it, but. Yeah, UK hip hop's that's where my heart lies,
I'm with
definitely.
you, man.
And but it's interesting to see. Like, I mean, it's still rap at the end of the day. It's still a genre. Like, it's umbrellaed. And I think, I mean, it's interesting. It's very relative to me to the trap in America and the mumble rap stuff.
Yeah, I think that's probably like quite an apt like comparison between the two.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's like at the end of the day, I don't personally, I don't think a lot of people that listen to the music are actually taking that much notice to what they're saying.
Yeah.
I think it's partly like an instrument, but I don't know. I listen to lyrics when I listen to a tune, and if someone's chatting shit, like no matter how good it sounds, I'm kind of like go off them a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that's part of the craft. You've got to be able to make something sound like something important or something like even if it's joke or funny. If you've got good imagery or you're writing it well, and you're like actually looking into the writing of it instead of just trying to make it sound good, which you can do both, I think.
Do you have a like listening wise as like a fan of hip hop? Do you have a preference between UK and US?
UK. Yeah, I love US hip hop still.
Do you still listen to kind of current releases from the US?
Yeah, so like I listen to people like J. Cole every now and then. Conscious stuff, do you know what I mean?
Did you hear Danny Brown's album that came out last week?
No.
It's worth checking, man.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's
right.
What
I'm saying. Yeah, we listened to it in the car on the way to Bristol, didn't we? I think I showed you a few tracks on there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I have to check that out. For me, it's just a relative thing. UK hip hop's much more relative to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the thing is, it's like I did like it's still, as I said, I still love US hip hop. I still listen to old shit like that I used to. Like,
it's timeless though. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of that stuff from the 90s, like the boom bap era in New York, all the West Coast stuff in LA is timeless. And I think like the counterpoint to what you said about music being. I fucking lost my train of thought. But anyway,
it's happened to me like 4 times already. Mate. It's calm.
Yeah.
Tom, what did you think about the video to the Gangstar with J. Cole? Because we've spoke about the track.
That's Guru's son in it, isn't it? I think. Because you see Guru with the baby at the beginning, and that's obviously like his son going around with Premier and like handing out diamonds to the community.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really like. I mean, obviously, it was very like personal to Primo and the family. I don't know. I love the track. I thought the track was amazing.
Good,
I was really we talked a bit about that in the last episode. I think it exceeded expectations. I thought when I first heard that Gangstar released another track. Ever since that like footage of Nas leaving the voicemail, I was a bit skeptical, thinking like, how's that going to work?
Yeah.
But as soon as that beat dropped and like the keys started like playing on loop, like classic Primo, I was just like, yeah, goosebumps hit me right in the feels. I was like bumping that shit.
Yeah, I love that feeling.
It's fucking incredible.
You, like, I get it a lot where I listen to someone and I get the goosebumps, and then
man.
like sometimes I literally just have to like, I have to write. Like I can't not write now. Do you know what I mean? It's so inspiring to me. I'm just like, right, I need to find a beat. I need to let this feeling out. And it's some of my like, you know.
I just remembered the point I was going to ask you earlier. So you know, you said you listen more to UK because it's relative to you.
Yeah, man.
So the counterpoint I was going to make is that I like listening to American hip hop because it's like escapism. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, definitely. Yeah. And sometimes I listen to hip hop for like 2 days in a row. Like just only music I'm listening to. I'm just like, raw. I need something else, and I'll put like Frank Sinatra on or something, or like you know, something jazzy, or put on some US hip hop old school stuff, you know.
Bro, honestly, man, like doing this podcast because you're so immersed in it, you're always listening to music.
Yeah.
Like I always need a break from I always need to take a break from hip hop sometimes.
Yeah.
You need like a palate cleanser.
Yeah,
so I'm listening to fucking dusty boom bap all day. A lot of grime, and it's just kind of nice to kick back to, you know,
definitely just like
anything else.
What's your kickback?
Michael Jackson, not joking.
R. Kelly.
Oh man, the documentary was pretty fucking.
It's on Netflix.
Basic,
I haven't watched it. I've seen it on Netflix.
Yeah,
but
I've seen the like.
It's a nonce cast, isn't it?
Nonce cast.
I've got so much stuff. I haven't even watched Top Boy yet.
You not?
Watched Power. I haven't caught up on Power.
I've got
Is
Power.
that
Top Boy.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I wasn't sure because there's mixed opinion about it. I find.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Top Boy's saying.
Yeah, nice.
The new one yet?
No,
I started when the new one came out. That's when I started.
It is. Yeah, it's good. It's. I think they've completely outdone themselves, man. And I'm looking forward. There's going to be another series, and I'm looking forward to that.
I have watched like the first 5 minutes of the first episode of the new series. I can tell already, like money, like that Drake money is coming. Like,
man. It looks a lot like the production value shot up, hasn't it?
Yeah,
you can tell.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's sick though. I still haven't finished it.
Yeah, I haven't finished it either. I'm only like 2 episodes.
I went to the cinema last night and watched Hustlers.
What's that?
Well, Cardi B.
Yeah, the one with Cardi B. Yeah.
Well, the strippers.
Yeah.
Was it Cardi B and J-Lo?
No, it's actually an interesting story. It's about these like strippers that
you're like a really interesting story about these strippers.
No. Hear me out.
About them going to work for the night.
No, actually, I think you'd like enjoy it. You proper into your film.
Naturally,
it's like the story in itself is told quite well.
Oh shit! Is J-Lo kind of like? Is it kind of like a she's like the mentor?
Yeah. So what it is, without giving it away like spoilers, basically, obviously, these strippers make a lot of money during like Wall Street, and all the traders come in and just fucking spend a load of cash, and then the Wall Street crash happens, and then they kind of find alternative ways of making money whilst also doing their like craft, if you like. And
it's not as well putting it.
Yeah, no, I don't mean like
that reminds me of that Jimmy Carr joke when he's just like, "Do you think strippers get home from work and they're getting changed?" You're like, "Oh, great, more work." Oh no, I have to check that out, man. It's like fucking booty galore.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
No, it's good. It's a good film. It's a good story to it.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
And did you see the Foreign Beggars are obviously splitting up, and they're doing their last ever UK last UK gig at the Garage in London. I think it's next month, and the lineup is ridiculous, man.
Are they still doing like solo stuff then, or?
Yeah, I think. Or if it's Volgatron's doing his own like kind of side project.
Yeah.
But they're releasing. I heard through the grapevine that they're releasing like a last kind of album, which is a throwback to like Asylum Speakers, you know, like proper like boom bappy hip hop.
Yeah.
But the lineup of this gig looks nuts, man. You got like Doc Syntax, Dirty Dyke. It said like S
I
gap
think
gap
I
gap
actually
Y
saw-
M gap N, which alludes
yeah.
to Skinny Man turning up. They'll probably do the Hold On track.
Skinny Man's
I'm
sick,
guessing.
Yeah.
And other people, but that's going to be a fucking banging
That'd
night.
be sick to go to.
When is Skinny Man going to make another album, man?
Oh, that guy's a myth, though, isn't he?
He
I mean,
released some new stuff like recently with Flip
Flip
Tricks and
Tricks,
stuff,
yeah,
didn't he?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Thriller.
It's a tune as well.
Throw
I
back
rate
to the
that
Michael
tune.
Jackson reference from earlier. But that was he was
It's a good
donning
song.
some kind of like anorak, wasn't he? Like a fisherman's
Yeah,
hat.
yeah,
He
like-
looks-
Yeah,
he's such a
yeah.
don, man. Skinny's such an OG. He's just always got that massive grin on his face. He's just like
Yeah, bro.
No
I
one
think
carries
he was
himself
doing
that
some
well.
like
There's a big silver tooth you can always see in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pictures.
he was doing a few gigs in Bristol recently. I think. Like I think
man,
he's still going about. and
he's a
doing his thing.
legend, man.
Yeah,
He's
no,
just like I don't
definitely.
think anyone's got that kind of charisma in the scene that Skinny does. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, everyone that knows UK hip hop knows him.
Yeah,
he's a don,
100%.
man. I
Yeah.
think and he kind of obviously when he came through like the early days of UK hip hop, that was like that predated grime, and you could argue that a lot of the ways in which he was spitting on tracks was almost like a precursor to that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
He could kind of chop his flow up. He could jump on any beat and murder it, man.
that's the thing.
It's a shame that he didn't go like and release any more like full length projects after Council Estate.
Yeah. But who knows, mate?
People are people, aren't they? Like they're not
Yeah.
commodities. They're just kind of like they have their shit going on, and for whatever reason,
Exactly, and like they've got their own life as well. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
doing
yeah.
their own thing.
Yeah,
But,
100%.
And it's I don't know. I'm still like trying to get to that point where I can sort of try and make an album and get a collection of things out. I mean,
Mhm.
I released an EP like 2 years ago now,
Mhm.
which is on SoundCloud, and that's the only like project that I've like ever put out in bulk,
Mhm.
and still haven't since. Because I just haven't like I've made an album that I haven't released at all, and none of the songs are out.
are you
And it's-
sitting on that and waiting to
No,
release
the thing
it?
is, I
or-
think it's just for me. Like I look at it and I'm like, I mean, Running was on that, but there's only like there's a few tunes that I might remake, if you know what I mean. Like because my skill will have improved since I've last recorded them, and like my studio is better now and everything. But the thing is, it's like for me, it was practice, like how to do it, how to create a collection of songs, and like I want to be able to do it with like other producers and make a completely original thing.
Yeah.
And like I'm just building my way up to getting there. But for now, like I'm happy with just releasing sort of singles. if you
Yeah,
know what I
man.
mean.
We're switching up
I
our.
don't blame you.
seating
So
plan.
yeah, we're shifting things about a bit. So
Well, bro,
so
how we
this
doing?
is Ian. Do you want to introduce
doing?
yourself, man?
Yeah, I'm Ian Avery. I'm a co-founder at Hip Hop Coffee Shop. So yeah.
Nice one, man. And obviously, like you've been doing bits in the Bristol scene for some time now. Do you want to talk a little bit more about kind of the concept behind it and how you first founded?
Yeah, so we actually started it as a uni project, me and two others, and we were trying to think of like a different concept for a hip hop night, really. And one of the others actually came up with the name because I saw they did a hip hop in a chip shop before,
Yeah.
and we were like, that rhymes. That's
Is that
really
like the
cool.
chip shop in Brixton?
No, they did one in Brixton, but there's
Yeah.
also one in Bristol that they did as well. And we thought, what else can we do? Like, where else can we do like a hip hop event that ends with shop? So a coffee shop was the next thing we came up with. And we found a really good venue in Bristol, like the Boston Tea Party. They've been really like good to us. Let's have a venue for like a good price, and they've got a great outdoor area, so it was like big enough to have a good crowd in. Because like the capacity there is about 150, which you don't normally get in a coffee shop. So
Yeah.
it was quite unique for that, and it just blew up. Like the first event went really well, and we thought, well, let's carry it on. And we've been doing it for nearly 2 years now. So
I think you're in the right city for it, man.
yeah, for sure.
So what kind of heads have been through and performed at the coffee shop session so far?
So for our birthday bash, which is 20th of April, I don't know, 420 as it is in hip hop. But
that was sick.
yeah,
I don't know. I have no idea what you're referencing. Can you please elaborate for
But
me,
we,
granddad? Sorry, mate.
but yeah. So we had Creatures of Habit. Who else did we have down?
There's Res One.
Yeah,
Lazy
Res One,
Eyes.
Lazy Eyes.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like we've got our residents, like we have Risky,
yeah.
Weaver's becoming one of our residents,
Oh, nice,
definitely
mate.
for the touring shows as well, and
Caravan
Mr. Hair,
Collective.
yeah, Mr. Hair, the Caravan Collective, like a lot of Bristol, sort of, they're becoming the local legends, I think.
Yeah, there's like in Bristol. I don't know if you've seen like the Burns Manor records. There's like a collection like 15.
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. I mean,
They're
they keep
smashing it
growing.
at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, they're Risky's part of them. They're just like putting out content like frequently, and they're doing well, definitely. And it's nice because I've like made friends with all of them as well. And before I moved to Bristol, I wasn't really friends with many rappers, if you know what I mean. Like, so it's cool to have like see
community.
Cut.
100%, man.
Definitely.
I think I really rate that.
Coffee shops, like none of us, I doubt, would have really known each other.
Yeah,
I mean, a couple of us would have.
That was why we created it, really. It was basically a platform for up-and-coming artists to come collaborate with each other, show off their skills, get on the open mic, and just have like a place to chill out and talk about hip-hop. Do you know what I mean?
swear every time
That's cool,
every time there's one, like there's new artists on the open mic.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely, yeah. And because it's such a like student city, we do things that are like our freshers fair. We try and get like the young up and coming artists straight as they come into Bristol. We're like, come down, show us what you've got, send us some music over. We might even put you on the lineup straight away if like you've got some good material.
I really rate that, man, because it's not, you kind of lose that like elitist mindset. It's none of that. It's kind of giving everyone a chance and putting someone on and giving them a platform if they feel like they can bring it. I really rate that, man.
And I think it gives people confidence as well. Like if you go down thinking, I might get on the open mic, but I'm like crapping myself, like I don't know if I want to, and then you see 10 people like passing the mic around and they're all having a great time. No one's judging each other.
Confidence
and your confidence just goes up. You grab the mic, someone's like, "Oh, that was sick, bro," and then you're like, you feel like you're part of that community. Then
nobody's like, "Oh, like." No, I don't know you. You can't have the mic.
Yeah,
so, I mean, like, no one's like that. Everyone's like, "Oh, cool, I don't know you. Here's the mic."
Yeah, let's see what he's got.
Yeah,
like,
let's see if he's worth talking to about hip hop and stuff.
So just to play like devil's advocate, say if someone hopped on the mic and they were like really bad, like how would you be? Just real like kind of better like next time. Like how would you kind of give them, because there's a lot of like backpatting and stuff in the scene generally. Which is obviously good to support people. Yeah. But do you think there's enough honesty and honest feedback?
I think
between us, like when artists like send us stuff to like Rachel, who's like the one who deals with like the artist bookings. She'll be like, well, like this is the sort of level of the artist that we're booking on to the actual lineup. Like, come down, practice on the open mics, like get some advice from other rappers that have been doing it like for longer than you, and then sort of get some advice and bring it to the open mics. And then when we start to see you improve, then we'll start to give you
an impartial kind of like bias, I guess, like not a vetting system. I'm not saying
no.
But like just someone who kind of sits outside like an adjudicator and being like, okay, like
definitely, because she's like she's like the one out of the group. Like I love UK hip hop, but like it's only been the last sort of 3 years that I've been seriously getting into it. But she's been like since day. She's loved UK hip hop. Like she's the one we go to for like, what do you think on the quality of this?
I see that happening. I think, well, we've all been there. We will start somewhere. And the thing is, you can't like just because someone's like, if they are that like that, if they're not great, like that's a big thing for them. They probably know there's a big thing for them to go and perform. And at the same time, it's like big ups, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, well done. Well done for doing that.
It was kind of just to kind of like give the other, it's more of a kind of thought experiment, you know what I mean? And like asking a challenging question, because you got to kind of address that sometimes. You can't be like, yeah, man, you're amazing.
I think like, it depends on their attitude about themselves personally. It's like if they think like, if they're acting like they're like the best rapper in the world, but then their bars are whack, it's like,
because personally as an artist, you'd want to know, wouldn't you? You'd want to know.
Yeah, that's what I was
going
to say.
But there's a way of saying it to them, obviously. You don't say to them, oh, you're fucking shit, mate. But you'd be, if you gave someone constructive feedback as an artist, you should appreciate that and be like, okay,
feed forwards.
Yeah, exactly,
That's
man.
what we do.
Feed forwards. Okay.
Feed forwards, not back.
You can't take criticism. You're never going to get better.
100%.
Yeah, and there's nothing worse than like all your mates saying, yeah, that's really good, and then you go on the mic and there's people who aren't your mates thinking, what's going on?
Yeah.
I always have like there's certain people that I send my music to that I know will not give me any shit, and I'll send it to them and they'll come back with something honest.
That's good.
And
so
it's cool like having that.
So what about sending your music to people that you don't know? Would you ever do that?
How do you mean, like to like people that I want to work with, or just...
so an example would be Miles Diggy.
Yeah, man. He was saying part of his process, he puts music out to people who don't even necessarily know who he is.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna be biased in their feedback, and they're not going to say, "Yeah, man, that was fire," or like, they'll just they'll give him honest feedback based on that, or feed forward.
I would that's a good idea. I mean, I'd be interested to do that. It's just about finding the people, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, man, yeah.
Then you might end up on like a Sainsbury's advert.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah. Big up, Mice.
That'd be great.
Because at the same time, if you send someone you don't know your music, the impression sometimes that they'll go is, "Oh, he's just trying to show me his music." Do you know what I mean? It's not like about.
Oh no. I guess maybe not in the sense that just on like social media and just check out my SoundCloud, bro.
Literally, mate. Like, I've spent so many times like sending music to people, especially artists, man. I used to spend.
It's grafting, isn't it? I suppose you have to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But there's having a strategy.
The thing is, you learn that you don't really get anything from it a lot of the time. Some artists will, like there's been a couple of people that, you know, reply and give you feedback and help you and teach you. Some people won't. Some people won't reply. Some people will, but it'll be really brief. But like, I think, you know, as you start getting involved in the community and the scene,
yeah, man,
you kind of hope that these people will see you anyway, and then you'll get to a point where you can sort of talk to them and sort of ask them about stuff and learn from them as well, because, you know, they've been through more of the scene than you have. They're probably going to be making all the same mistakes that you've made before, and you want to learn from them. Like for me, like if I meet someone from, you know, High Focus, or, you know, like Flip Tricks or Verb T, or any of these people that have been in the game for a while, like personally I wouldn't want to be going over to them and be like, "Yo, can I have a photo, can I talk?" I'd be like, "Yo, so like what advice would you get into the scene? Like, how does it work? What happens now?"
Because you've not just got the music side of it, you've got like the business side of it as well, haven't you?
Yeah, and the networking, getting yourself out there and having a friendly face, and, you know, like trying to be friends with people as well. Do you know what I mean? Because we all like the same music at the end of the day, and we're all here for the same reason. So it's like, it's cool to be able to like try and learn from each other.
Yeah, man, 100%.
You know, hopefully give something that people can learn from you as well.
Yeah. Wise words, man.
I think one of the hardest things for like up and coming artists is like eventually breaking through to getting paid for your gigs and like getting into a booking agency or something like that, or just like having that mindset where you just can't just keep going around all your local like open mic things and start doing stuff for free all the time, because you never get out of that cycle and you never step up.
Yeah.
And I think people, if you say like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it for free," people take that for granted.
Yeah.
You know, if you put on a good show and people like it, like they'll be like, "Oh, you did it for free last time. Let's do it again."
Yeah.
I mean, but like, the thing is, at the same time, it's like, it's not about the money either.
Yeah,
so,
I suppose
you
there is
do want to
knowing
get your name out there, and you do want to perform, and you do it for the music.
I suppose it's like it's just doing it in stages, isn't it? It's part of like a journey. So you do that from the outset to kind of like get yourself known and as you say, like make friends with people, build a network. But then when you start to take it more, not seriously, but, you know, when you start thinking about, right, okay, I could actually make some money from this, it's like understanding your worth.
Yeah.
And then actually being assertive enough to
market yourself.
To market
sell
yourself that way.
Yeah, make it worthwhile.
And it's weird. It's like I always think with footballers as well. You see like, "Oh, he's gone for 12 million. He's gone for 70 million." I find that weird because they're putting a number on someone, a person. But at the same time, with rap, it's almost like you have to put a number on yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, how much am I worth?
Yeah,
and
man.
like, and figuring that out, I think it's just the process that you go through, like as you grow. And as you get more of a following and put out more music and get more experience, and, you know, that's part of the journey. I think that's part of the fun. Like if you were to just, for me personally, if I was to just blow up, like I'd be a bit. I mean, obviously I'd be really grateful and everything, but at the same time, I'd be like, "Oh well, I kind of would have liked to like maybe work for it a bit more." Do you know what I mean? Have
go
that
through
in
the
mind.
stages.
Have that in mind. Be like,
Keep
I've
going
earned
up
this.
that
You know
chain.
what I mean?
I guess so, but like conversely, I bet there's people who've grafted and grafted and grafted that haven't got anywhere, or they've just scraped the tip of the iceberg, and they thought, "Oh man, I just need that break." So there's two ways of looking at it.
Yeah, and then you get the odd people.
It's all
who,
relative,
like,
isn't it?
Release like barking, and then they're like fucking mad famous from one tune.
Yeah. We were saying about it earlier. You know, just the like kind of the fickle like climate at the moment. Like singles generation, isn't it?
I like to think like if you're creating good music, it will be heard.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like that's what I believe that, because otherwise, you know, if you're not, I'm trying to losing my train of thought a bit, but
if you're not like, if you haven't in a positive mindset, then nothing's gonna like, you're not gonna get positive things out of it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, I don't know, I think, you know, making music, it's it's a journey through your life as well. You're rapping about your life. You're rapping about the things you've done, and I think it's important to do that as well for your journey, so that it's a time capsule for yourself.
Yeah,
like, it's like looking back at your diary. Sometimes I write tunes that are just completely metaphorically only related to me, and no one else can understand what that means except for me when I listen to it.
Yeah.
But maybe there's another side to it, like they can hear the side that I'm trying to put out, but they won't understand that meaning just because.
Well, it's like the auteur theory, isn't it? It's kind of like, if it's something that's personal to you, then will it translate when you put it out to the public, right? Yeah. But is it, in my opinion, when an artist puts music out in the public domain, then everyone owns it. Do you know what I mean? And can interpret it how they want. Yeah. Because that's art, right? It is subjective.
Yeah, definitely.
But there are a lot of artists who kind of hold on to what they've created and think, right, no, you can't possibly interpret it in any other way other than I intended.
I think Lord Connor's very good at putting out his life. On
he's
track.
candid, isn't he? He speaks quite openly about it.
Oh, yeah, and I like that, but that's his part of his style, I think, like confessional.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's good. I mean, it inspires people to talk about their issues.
Yeah.
And I think if you're going to be in the public eye and you want to be, then you should be open to talk about your life.
And if you want everyone to have one opinion of like the way that track makes them feel or how you feel from that track, then you've got to give them a bit of background so that it guides them to that train of thought.
Otherwise, how do they know you're actually going through it?
If you don't give it a backstory, then they're going to interpret it in their own way, and then they might get it wrong, but it's not their fault because they don't know.
But is that part of the art though? It's like if you look at an art piece from an artist that's died, like everyone's creating what they think it means, which then actually therefore means that it means all of those things, and the artist is actually just one of those people that's creating one of those meanings behind
people
it.
apply their own narrative to most things, man. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah, I was going to go off on a really depressing, morbid tangent. I probably will actually. So
here we go.
Always, man. So Jake, you might have seen this. There was a documentary. So a few years ago, there was a case in America where a girl was going out with a guy, and he basically commits suicide, and she basically was encouraging him to do it. And the police arrested her, and they, seized her phone, and they found thousands of texts going "Go on, do it, get back in that car, kill yourself," all of this kind of stuff. And at the time, it was very much it was like a witch hunt. She was put on trial, and it was very kind of okay, so legally, has she actually done anything wrong because she hasn't committed a crime per se? But she's just encouraged someone to do it. So everyone was basically gunning for this girl. But then the documentary goes on, because a good documentary should always be unbiased, yeah? So it goes on to talk about the backstory, and it says that they were together in an abusive relationship for some time before that, and she was trying to they both had histories of kind of mental illness and all this kind of stuff anyway, and they were on loads of prescription medication. But it was that part of the story that everyone focused on. So she was kind of ostracized, victimized, and everyone hated her because it was kind of that's what was presented to them at the time. Not saying what she did wasn't fucking terrible. I mean, and I'm
think when people are desperate, but think of any way to get out of a situation.
Yeah, the point I'm getting at is the chain of events people were shown is people started applying their own narrative structure to that.
Yeah.
Rather than seeing the whole picture.
That's the negative side of it, definitely. Yeah. Is that, when something bad happens and it's in the media, everybody's jumping on their own opinion of it. And even if it's not even got proof to it, people say it to each other like it's a fact.
Yeah. I think that is very much the culture we live in. It's kind of my opinion means more than your fact. It's just
it's kind of what you feel about it, and everyone's been through certain things in their life. Some people relate to it more.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bad thing to do in any case, though, is to ever encourage someone to do that.
No, man. Yeah, obviously that's kind of the point I was getting to was around
definitely
creating a narrative, but that was obviously a very extreme example.
At the same time, you don't know,
and topical, because I think the documentary came out a couple of days ago or something, so it's fresh in my mind.
It's an interesting point, definitely.
Aiden needs a long cold shower after that story.
Mad thing.
I might give it a watch actually.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's interesting, but to bring it back to the hip hop tip.
Yeah.
But I'm loving kind of the hip hop community in Bristol generally. When we were in Bristol on Saturday doing the podcast, and there was an event going on in the evening. Unfortunately, we didn't get around to doing Rope a Dope, so I was at the Rope Walk, and a few people who've been on this podcast went along. Cosm, Mick Swagger, George Bucks, I think Specific was there.
Quite a few people.
And then,
I saw that.
Bill Nex was there, and Pharcyde was there as well.
Yeah.
But a few of the guys who've been in the podcast, like, they didn't know each other before this podcast, and now they all like they all kind of make music together and stuff. And I think that's similar to what you were saying about the hip hop coffee shop sessions.
It's cool.
It's
like
sick
we need people all over the UK to be doing
100%, man.
Thing.
Yeah, 100%.
This sort of thing, and
it is a community.
Well.
It is a community full of like people who love geeking out about music, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Ultimately,
that's what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a complete nerd for
man.
UK hip hop, mate. I'll happily spend all day sat in my room in my pajamas.
But if we can be a catalyst for actually making dope music as well, do you know what I mean? Like people making music.
I rate that, man. Just in my pajamas, right?
We get to listen to that as well. Do you know what I mean?
And I feel like the podcast and that, it's like you're almost creating like an encyclopedia of like artists for other artists to go to and be like, oh, I like him. I'd work with him. Like he sounds like he's got the same sort of vibes as me. I liked his little his exclusive bars that he did. Like
I like that, man. I rate that an encyclopedia of upcoming rappers.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
So with the hip hop coffee shop sessions, have you guys because obviously what you guys do is I think it's fantastic, man. You bring so many people together and you give people a stage where otherwise they wouldn't have done that. Have you guys thought about when you do, because you're growing and growing and growing, and naturally you are going to get sort of bigger names in the slots there. Have you thought about how you're still going to be able to give those people that haven't had the opportunity before opportunities?
Yeah, well, I think because the fact that we do it in a coffee shop means that we can't really like afford or warrant to book like huge artists because it would just cost too much and ticket prices would be too much. So we've got to keep it real and be like only one sort of cost the artist and the rest are all just up and coming artists because otherwise it loses like the meaning behind it. It was like a platform for that in the first place.
You used to say that like if it like when it was to blow up and there was big artists and the whole thing was kind of headliners, you say that you can't just put on a hip hop up and coming artist thing.
That's true.
Or you extend like one of the things that we're struggling with is like trying to expand but not having like sticking to our like aesthetics is being in a coffee shop.
Yeah,
like we can't
core values.
Yeah, it's like our core values.
Wholesome.
But like we're thinking of like getting a coffee shop trailer so that we can take it to a bigger venue, put it in the smoking area, and now that becomes a coffee shop, right? So like then you can put on a night from 7 p.m. till 3 in the morning, and you can have 4 hours of up and coming artists. And then you can have headliner acts for people to finish the night off to.
I rate that, man.
Open mics at the beginning and the end, and hopefully, if you have, and if you get to that point and you've got up and coming artists as well as like big names, and you're doing an open mic at the beginning and the end, what's to say that like you're not going to be able to like get the mic from Verb T and then pass it to like Leaf Dog like eventually?
Mate, it happened like
how sick would that be?
At the 420 event, Leaf Dog turned up and was doing the open mic. And he was on like the Creatures of Habit thing because it's Ill-Informed and Eric the Red and Creatures of Habit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And mate, that was cool. That he was there.
Yeah. So I think
you should expand to Europe and do like an Amsterdam coffee shop session.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, we need to cover the rest of the UK.
Just like a one-off event or something. That'd be sick.
Have you seen those? I can't remember what the channel is called, but it's a French channel, right? And it's called Mellotron.
Oh, the Mellotron.
You've seen the Mellotron. So the Mellotron is basically it's just like a French channel, and they do this thing where they get like a camper van, stick a bunch of cameras in there. They do like hour-and-a-half long sets, and they have people come in. They do like vinyl sets, MPC sets, SP404 sets. Like
decent,
proper good stuff, man. And definitely. If you haven't checked out, go and check it out. Mellotron on YouTube.
Check that out.
Yeah, do it, man. They're doing some good stuff.
The Mellotron is a sick
do they
channel
sort of tour around with it then, do they?
At the moment, from what I understand, I think it's just in France.
Okay. But they drive around France in this camper van and just sort of go to one artist, move on to the next one.
Yeah, man. And even in like coffee shops and stuff like that, I've seen videos when they'll just set up a bunch of cameras and you'll just have a guy literally, or a girl, it can be a guy or a girl, sat on like a table. There's no audience, just people just coming in and chilling and just doing his bit.
That's great.
I suppose with an MPC or you know whatever, you don't need audio, do you? You just stick your headphones in. It doesn't need to be loud or anything, does it? But yeah, man, it's all good stuff.
That's
I've always wanted to do a track with someone from Europe. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man.
Like in
French heads, man. I think.
Yeah,
they
French hip hop sick. I need to delve into that a bit more. I think
you got time, man. You're 20 years old, mate. You've got like
so young,
so much time to make bare music.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
No, I'm excited
That's
to
the
hear
thing.
what you got.
It's you know, I'm really excited to be at this point in Bristol and doing stuff at this, you know, this age is cool. Like to be able to have so much ahead of me, if that makes sense.
So what's in the pipeline for you, music wise?
Yeah, so I've got working on another video to come out. But as I said, I'm kind of working. I want to get my singles. I want to do like a lot of singles, get them out, see what the reaction is, and like I want my first album to be organically made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I want it to just kind of. Obviously, I'd have to like put work into it and everything, but I want it to sort of form like a meet the producer, and then like it would all kind of like come together, because I feel like that's the best way for music to be made.
Would you rather work with like one producer for a consistent sounding project, or would you work with multiple producers?
It would depend. It would depend on that one producer, definitely.
Yeah.
Like if I was with a producer and we make a track and the track's sick and we work together well and they understand like the way like that we work together. Then yeah, like 100%, like I would want to.
It'd be good to do like a 4 or 5 track EP just with one producer.
Yeah, exactly.
But then like maybe do like collaboration album where you'd pick a different producer per track and a different artist to work with.
Yeah, and the good thing about doing an album with one producer is that I think you maintain a style throughout
and chemistry as well to a certain extent.
Exactly.
Is there anyone you have in mind? Like hypothetically, we ask this to everyone.
What in the scene right now?
It can be producer, dead or alive, anyone you want.
Who would you want to receive a beat from next?
Yeah. Wake in the morning.
That's a much bigger question than I thought it was. Oh God.
Aiden Grant.
DJ Premier.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Dre would be sick.
Dre,
yeah.
That's
Dr.
great
Dre would
shout.
be sick.
Yeah, leave it at that.
UK wise.
Yeah.
UK wise, someone like Leaf Dog, Verb T, Dirty Dyke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that production. The production from those three, and there's many more as well, man. Like there's so many people that I hope to work with. I think
Mr. Slips would be a good fit for your
Mr.
kind
Slips.
of style,
yeah, I rate his stuff. He's doing a lot of stuff with Verbs at the moment. Isn't
Verbs is sick, man. He's been on the
mate.
podcast before, man. He's a good guy.
Yeah, it's.
Did you hear his latest track, Run?
I've seen like I haven't actually heard the entire track yet, but I've seen like the clips on Instagram and stuff. Oh mate, I was saying earlier, I was like, oh, it's so hard to get people from Instagram onto YouTube, and I'm just as bad.
Just as bad.
Yeah, it's true.
There you go, man.
But at the same time, like I do get around to it in the end. Eventually,
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah, man. Like there's Mr. Slips is sick. His beats are very like sort of chilled, and that's like the sort of vibe that I like going off. I like sort of talking about things, but over like a calm beat, sort of like
meaningful,
like the
meaningful
after party music
tunes.
sort of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And also I think it's it's important to not just be serious all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I want to make some more tracks where I'm just taking a piss out of myself and out of a certain thing.
That's British, man. Do you know what I mean? That's very like UK.
Yeah.
It's important to have fun with it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you got to have fun, but you do need to have some type of content.
And you need it like for live performance. It's good to have some light-hearted tracks.
Oh yeah, totally.
And stuff that get people moving and stuff. You know what I mean?
Like,
leave them depressed, didn't they?
He's never been to a Mortal Technique gig. It's just like after listening to Dance with the Devil, you never know. He just stood there crying.
Like, this is amazing, but it's also so sad.
Yeah, this is the most profound shit I've heard, but it's so fucking sad.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, man, because your video for Tell Me, I mean, obviously you're outside, what was it, like House of Parliament?
So we filmed 2 days in London, and
I was
then 2 days in Bristol as well.
Okay.
So when I'm on the cliff, and I'm trying to think of the other shots we did. It was cool actually. There was the Gloucester Road shot at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We just found that. We had the idea at first. When we were on the tube on the way to one of the shoots. we're like, oh, we're gonna do the Gloucester Road bit, and then get like a sign on Bristol that says Gloucester Road and use it. And then one day we were just walking up, after filming in Bristol, and I was like, whoa! And there was this graffiti, and it was like a whole Simpsons graffiti thing, and just in the bottom right corner was like the tube. The Gloucester Road like tube sort of sign that we used, that we like kind of transferred into it. And then the guys I was working with, Harvey, Alec, and Az, they're seriously talented guys, and they absolutely smashed that video. And we put in a lot of work for that.
Yeah.
We went around all over the place. We went to Parliament, we went to Buckingham Palace. We were outside
being tourists for the day.
Waterloo Bridge.
Yeah.
I was saying this to Ian. I was like,
Ben.
if I ever go to a city and I've never been to before, the best way that I can find to go look around it is go and do a video shoot.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like seeing it at its best.
Yeah, you literally go to the best places and record at them, and then like you see it. But like in one day, we went to like 5 different bridges or whatever in London.
So what made you do Bristol and London then?
I don't know, mate. Like
I can understand Bristol, but like London was
the
that
comparison of lives.
Yeah, it was kind of like, because the whole track's about like, what do you do? Do you know what I mean? Tell me, what do you do? Do you live like this? Do you live like this? Whatever. Do you make beats? Do you write and rap? And the point is, it's like, do you live in London? Do you live in Bristol? It's just like, it was, we wanted to try and put both sides of where, people would know. Because a lot of people I find, no matter where they live, they've been to London like a lot of times.
Yeah,
they know it. So it's, and also I don't know, I thought it was, personally I wanted to have a video that I'd done in London just because it was, there's so much cool stuff there. There's so many cool places to go
it's iconic, especially like being a rapper from a UK.
And it kind of just happened in its own way, because we were actually meant to film it in Bristol. And then once we were going to, and then it started raining or something, so we didn't do it.
You didn't get them to shut the bridge though, like Stormzy.
Mate, we had a conversation about that. We were like, oh, we should call them off and be like, yeah.
No, just had me standing there with my arms out, and then people were still barging through, like, and walking straight in front
Mate,
of
the amount of people that just walked in front of us, it's ridiculous.
What time do you think they recorded that? It must have been
6 in the morning, I think it was. Very early in the morning.
Super early, man.
I think you got paid as well. Shut down, man.
Definitely, yeah.
Cost a lot, but they have
national
stupid.
treasure.
We had
budgets,
people
don't they?
honking at us. Like people would like stop behind, because he's got the whole gimbal out and everything. Like people would like stop behind and like watch it. And it was at first it was like, oh, this is weird. But then you just get used to it, mate. Like you just get used to people looking, and then
I'll rate that, man.
Like it was interesting. We're getting like, it must have been like 15 people. 13. Oh, I don't even know.
Who was it? That, there was a video that went up on Section Red the other day.
Yeah.
And I think I can't remember whose video it is. But they do. I think they go to what is it called? It's somewhere in Greece, right? And they do the video inside an actual like underground metro.
Oh man.
And it's quite a busy metro as well. And they're just like in the middle. I think there's 2 of them like in the middle of the metro just rapping, and then you've just got like right behind them, just really like scoops up together, just like a random like people just like watching.
Yeah.
Just like commuters, they're just like
that's
looking
the thing.
at,
It's like what's going on here? What am I seeing right now? You know what I mean? It's interesting. Like
people like bopping their head in, like, I'm gonna be famous.
Yeah.
While we're on that, actually, big ups to Section Red. They've been doing some bits. The guy that does it is Oliver Whitehouse.
That's
He
makes amazing video.
I saw him the other day because this guy called Habitus, who's the guy that mixed and mastered Tell Me for me. He's releasing an album soon where he's got Res One, Verb T on it, and mate, he smashes it.
Sorry, Athens. That's where it was. Athens.
Yeah.
You mean the capital of Greece, Aiden?
Yeah. Well, I want to get it right, man. I want to get it right.
Yeah, man. We went. I went and saw. I was getting into a bit of the video on the Saturday, but I turned up a bit late, so there might be a little glimpse of me in that. But Habitus is smashing it at the moment. He's a really talented guy in all aspects, rapping, making beats, and mixing, mastering. You should have heard Tell Me before I sent it to him. Like, not that it's bad. In terms of the rap, but like the production and stuff like that. Like he just did a lot of magic on it.
Yeah. And they play such like they're kind of like the unsung heroes, aren't they? In a way, like the audio engineers and the guys who mix and master the tracks.
And people don't realise how difficult it is, man. Like it's so hard to be able. You have to have such a good ear to be able to
100%,
find like the right way and put the ad libs in the right place and stuff.
It's good to give credit where credit's due, man. So
literally, mate. Big ups. How about this?
Oh man, so before we wrap up, man, is there anything that you want to plug or anyone you want to shout out?
Just big ups to Burns Manor. Big ups to Hip Hop Coffee Shops. Who else? All the lots in Bristol. I mean, they've got their own thing going on, like Split Profits, all that lot. I mean, they're a lot of my inspiration from before I even started rapping. And obviously, like, yeah, I don't know if they'll even see this or anything, but in case they do,
hopefully.
Too many names to mention, man.
Mate, that's the thing. It's like there's so much, like there's so many people doing such like a sick thing, like in hip hop at the moment.
Yeah, man.
Personally, for me, also like to Alec, Harvey, and Az for making the video, and
Big
Ian,
up.
mate.
Big
Ian's
up,
put up so much fucking work for me, like music related and not, mate.
Good man.
Mate, there's the time when we were doing the gig in Jersey. It's literally just I wanted to get my head shaved before it, and we were just going in, and I kept saying to him, "Oh, can you do it now? Can you do it now?" And then literally just before we got in the car on the way, he just tried shaving it.
On the driveway.
And mate, I swear you missed a lot, mate. I looked like a tennis ball while I was performing. I just had bits of hair. Yeah.
It's all right.
But,
That's
mate,
the best we could do.
Yeah.
Who's it
I'm
you
a
said like?
removal man,
How did you get so
Removal
bold the
man.
other day?
Oh yeah, it was Lazy Eyes. Have you seen Lazy Eyes in that UKHH video?
I think he's
Which one?
the one shot in Boscombe. I think.
Yeah, it was one shot in like a tattoo parlor.
yeah,
Mate, he's
yeah.
fucking bold, man. Like he's so bold. I couldn't get over it.
said
Mate,
to
I
him,
don't
"How'd you
think
get
I'll
so
go back,
bold?"
mate. I
Yeah.
love. It's so easy, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I shaved my head a few years ago, man. It's just like you jump in the shower and you're out. You're dry straight off.
Yeah,
aren't
yeah.
you? It's so much
Yeah.
easier.
Oh man, yeah, we spoke a lot about showers and soap, but but yeah, so yeah, before we wrap up, shouts to everyone listening. Big up
Yeah.
to Shotgun,
Yeah,
the Aux
thank you.
alumni.
Thank you.
Big ups to you guys for having me on.
Oh mate,
It's been
pleasure.
so sick.
Appreciate you guys driving down. Honestly, like it really
mate.
like means a lot. It makes this thing work.
Yeah, no,
So,
it's
like,
sick what you
props.
guys are
Looking forward
doing.
to it.
Oh no, that's good, man.
Yeah,
Honestly.
Tom's gonna pay for your hotel tonight.
Yeah.
So like, thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Send the
Yeah.
money
Yeah,
to
we're staying in the Ritz, mate.
So,
Nice one, Tom.
so shouts to Hip Hop's worst critic, Skidslift and Clifton Crotch. Aidan, where can you find the podcast, man?
So as always, you can find the podcast on any streaming platform, on YouTube, Spotify, all streaming platforms essentially. Give us a follow on social medias.
On the social medias.
Social medias, at Shotgun The Aux. And where can we find you?
Yeah, so if you go on Instagram at WEAVER_UKHH or if Facebook, I think it's WEAVER Hip Hop, and then on YouTube just search up WEAVER Tell Me or Running, something will come up and then you'll find my page from there.
Yeah, make
That-
sure you get
that-
to the YouTube people. Not enough people watch YouTube.
And subscribe.
Subscribe.
When you do.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Subscribe.
That's
Give the people some money for that,
WEAVER,
please.
isn't it?
Yeah, WEAVER.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check the title.
That's
And
it.
Ian, Hip Hop Coffee Shop.
Yeah.
Where can we find you, sir?
So yeah, we've got an event in Bristol on the 29th of November, and then we've also got 2 events happening on the 20th of December, one in Bristol and one in Jersey. So they'll be sort of running alongside each other. We're trying to get like a live stream going so you can view the other event and have some headphones so you can listen into the other
mate,
event.
that is mad.
So I think that'd be a pretty good concept, but yeah, we're working on that. So.
Nice one, man.
And hopefully in Bournemouth soon and everywhere else.
Come on,
Yes,
come on.
yes.
Hip Hop Coffee
Yeah.
Shop Sessions. in
Taking
Bournemouth,
over the
man.
world.
I will do a recce and find some good spots for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, that'll be
see what we
Yeah,
can
we'll
do.
work with Shotgun The Aux when we come to Bournemouth.
Yes,
Hell
mate,
yeah,
yes,
man. Yeah,
let's do it.
Pleasure.
Let's
Well,
get it
yeah,
done.
we'll have to link up for part 2, man, and
Definitely.
hopefully,
definitely.
you know, there's some progression since then, man. That'll be
Yeah,
good.
definitely.
Yeah, bro.
So you're at Hip Hop Coffee Shop Sessions.
Yeah, on Instagram, and then we're just Hip Hop Coffee Shop Sessions on Facebook. Yeah, we got
Safe,
the name.
man. I appreciate you boys coming on. So we're going to play out with Weaver's track "Running."
Safe.
Again, yeah. So big up, safe
Big
drive
ups,
back,
guys.
boys.
Thanks, man.
Take
Cheers for
care.
having us.
Safe.
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 Nice one.
Come on, that's all right.
Nice one.
Safe.